Hi everybody, and welcome back to Baseball Card Buddies. Today we are going into the archives to the 1970 World Series set. This is a set done by cartoonist R.G. Laughlin. It is an amazing set. There's a total of 66 cards, and it's a World Series set from 1903 all the way through 1969. I'm going to show you the first 5 or 6 cards that I have. They are really interesting cards, really for the history and the cartoons. The value on them is not as high as you'd expect from a set from 1970, but nonetheless, it's really cool. So here you can see the first card that I have, which is the 1905 World Series. There was a 1903 card, which I don't have. I picked up my set at a card show recently, and I think I'll end up trying to fill it in with the missing cards. But there's a 1903 card, which I don't have. Then, because there's no World Series in 1904, there's no card there. But then this is the 1905 card, where the New York Giants defeated the A's. And it's quite a interesting story because that's what those 3 zeros are there. Those are the goose eggs that Christy Mathewson actually threw in the World Series. 3 shutouts, which is pretty remarkable in itself in the World Series. So there you go, there's the back of the card. And what's actually interesting is the Fleer company produced these cards, and what they did is they stamped them as 1968 cards. You can see down there on the bottom, they've got the 1968, but they did not release them until 1970. So there's also another set of these which goes back to 1967, which are some black and white cards, but these are the color versions, and we'll continue to show them. So this is the first card I have, which is the 1905 card, Christy Mathewson and the New York Giants versus the A's. Next one I have here is the 1906 White Sox versus the same city rivals, the Chicago Cubs. And this is also another interesting card because, as you can see on the Chicago player jersey, it says 116 wins. That's actually the most MLB wins ever, up until the 2001 Mariners did the same thing. So 116 wins is the most wins in an MLB season, which is pretty impressive. And this is the 1906 World Series. Again, the White Sox versus the Cubs. And the back of the card here, it tells you the World Series, and it also tells you Chicago AL won 4 games, and the Chicago NL only won 2. And again, I've been reading up on these cards, and it provides a whole lot of history to all the World Series. Next card in 1907 is the Detroit Tigers versus, again, the Chicago Cubs. It is a Chicago Cub team that ended up going to last year's World Series in 1906, this year's World Series in 1907, and then the following year again against Detroit. So this is the entering of Ty Cobb and the Detroit Tigers, and this was Ty Cobb's first World Series, and he didn't do so well. It tells you in this writing here that he batted 200 in the series, but that was just the beginning for the batting champ, who would come back and prove much better than that. So 1907 World Series, Detroit 0, and the Chicago Cubs a championship. I've got 2 more for you here. Next one is, again, the Chicago Cubs and the same Detroit Tigers. They're showing the .345 batting average there for their main 3 hitters on the Cubs. Final score of this one, Detroit 1, Chicago 4. So, Chicago ended up winning back-to-back championships. And the last one I'm going to show you is entering a new era again, which is the Pirates and the Tigers. And many of the baseball card fans out there know who that guy on the left is. The Flying Dutchman, Honus Wagner. Many people would love to have one of his rookie cards in very good condition. But this is the first meeting of Ty Cobb and Honus Wagner, the two batting champs from each the NL and the AL. And this shows the two of them right up there. Actually, it doesn't show Ty Cobb. That's it says Georgia Peach. 1909 World Series, Detroit 3, Pittsburgh 4. So this was a victory for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Alright, well, I will do some other videos with the balance of the cards that I have, but I will put these up here so you can just get a quick shot of all of them together. They're really cool cards. They have great colors on them, and what they do is they really tell a wonderful story about the history of the World Series, because the backs have really good information. So here's a snapshot of all of them. Provide any comments you'd like. I'm sure I got some of the historical information incorrect, but what I'll do is I have about another 20-25 cards of this set. I will do another video with those other cards. But again, you're looking at the 1970 World Series set by artist and cartoonist Robert G. Laughlin, and these are the cards from the 1970 Fleer issue. Thanks for watching Baseball Card Buddies. We'll see you soon. Strike 3. We're out of here!